Good morning. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. To be intellectually honest, if you were deceived, how would you know? How would you be aware of that? How could you get out of that matrix of deception? A global deception that basically has deceived much of humanity. And it's not just about the globe, it's about a world system that relies on deception. I've recently liked some videos you might find very interesting. I know I did when I saw them. What I want to do is go ahead and just show you the beauty of what's happening here. This is the point in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. I'm recording with the P1000 right now as well. The sun would have been visible here on a clear day about 5 minutes ago. We've got some low-lying clouds, but what I'm going to do is zoom in on this island over here, and you'll be able to see some very interesting dynamics of the hydrologic cycle. It's a wall of fog that's actually like frost. It looks like it's freezing. It's in the low 30s right now. All of the weather in the world nowadays is actually modified. It's synthetic. It's real, but it's man-made, man-affected by weather modification. I call it weather wars. They create drought and flood. Who are they? I'll get to that a little bit later. I'll get to it right now. Basically the fallen ones. Demonic entities, fallen angels. Right now in the view, let me tell you what's very obvious to me. The airplanes are flying over a level plain. The truth is hidden in plain sight. P-L-A-I-N and P-L-A-N-E. There's knowing, and then there's believing. There are things that I absolutely know without a doubt. And then there are things that I have to believe because they're beyond my ability to know for sure. As it is with much of us. Many of us have beliefs that are based on information that we've looked at, that we've pored over. The tide here is going out for about 2 more hours. We have a high and low tide twice a day. And the tides near me, projections of that activity are very accurate. There's a debt enslavement of humanity. As a biblical creationist that is actually born again, I have a very unpopular message with most of humanity. This is not a popularity contest. I don't determine what I'm going to talk on based on popularity, what people want to hear. I'm not that guy. And I've wanted to know how things work my whole life. Why is it this way? Why? And the big question that I had, as a person who believed the Bible was true, why was I still a slave to my own selfish indulgence that involved drugs and alcohol? Part of the reason is I was spiritually dead. That was the main reason. That'd be enough. All I had was my flesh to overcome the temptation and the struggles that the flesh has with the world that we live in. So there you have it. And I thought I was born again over 30 years ago until I actually was, roughly 4 years ago on Reformation Day, or Halloween, as the blood-drinking, human-sacrificing pedophiles sweeten up the deal with candy distribution, much like Satan Claus, Santa Claus, NASA lies, Satan lies. It's a mess. It's a bit of an anagram. Some of these things, I put Santa lies and NASA lies in a lot of my content. Global deception, water seeks level. I'll hashtag those titles because largely they're going to be deposited into existing reservoirs that truth seekers are going to. Our AI, artificial intelligence, is very sophisticated. It's a matrix of deception that is interwoven throughout humanity, giving people a false reality, a false perception of the reality. And it also leverages the very powerful tools of social media and high-powered technology to promote this false reality on humanity. We've got differences in density and mass. I'm zoomed in on a sailboat that ran aground about 1.5 years ago. You can see that later. This live broadcast is a bit of an advertisement for you to go over to my Facebook page and YouTube channel to explore the content that's there. We've got people walking in fog over there. Very interesting. Maybe horseback riding. I don't know. I can't tell. The optical limitations that we have are profound. Good morning. We can't see Europe from here because of atmospheric lensing, moisture in the air, all of that. It's just the way that it is. The water is seeking its level all over the face of the earth. Of course, water curves. It fills its container perfectly. However, the surface of undisturbed water is flat and level. This water is seeking its level right now. It's reliable enough that they build trillions of dollars of structure all around the edges of the coastlines of the world. People come from all over the world to enjoy the beauty and majesty of this area right here. We're expecting roughly 20 million guests or so this year. That's what we had in 2019. Just to let you know, I've decided not to go to California at this time for the Question Everything conference because of economic limitations, and I can do basically what I do worldwide from right here. If I go on the road for 2 weeks, it's a long drive to California from here, and it's expensive. And I can travel the world through the internet. Basically, I would be doing that anyway, worldwide in the drive, but I just wouldn't have the facilities I'm used to having at my disposal. It's not about putting, Terrence McKenna would say, and Jason Silva, add some chemicals, ayahuasca, DMT, psilocybin, marijuana, and experience the world as it was meant to be. Not. I'm taking the chemicals out of my body, the drugs, the alcohol, the food additives, the toxins, by leveraging very powerful, aggressive water that's been filtered with reverse osmosis. It's much like delivering distilled water economically. And then I'll use baking soda and coconut oil to work that out. The highly aggressive water absorbs into the body and replaces the existing water that's there in the lymphatic system. My mom told me about 25 years ago, shortly before she died, she said, Bobby, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will. a very telling statement. Unfortunately, it was very true. The system enslaves people with debt and enslaves people with a false reality, chasing after fame, prestige, property, all of that. And it's a clever deception. The lender becomes slave to the master. The person who owes the money becomes the slave of the debt holder. And part of that is what I have featured in a recently liked video. It's at the top of my list right now. You can check that out if you care to. Brilliantly exposed. I don't necessarily agree with all of his tenets of perspective. I am an indentured servant to the creator of this world. I'm a child of God that's actually born again. So I don't know what perspective he holds on that at this time. However, he did a stellar job of explaining the debt slavery matrix that's being perpetrated on humanity and the control system and how to extract yourself out of that. Apparently. I say apparently because, you know, I don't believe he's incarcerated now. I do know that if you step out of favor with the legal system and you do it in an illegal manner, they'll be in a hurry to put you in a concrete box with steel. Depending on where you are in the system, you might be in a concrete box in the ground or concrete shoes at the bottom of the ocean. I don't know. The system is wicked. We're dealing with fallen angels that actually inhabit human beings. The wicked bloodlines of the world that control the rest of humanity. They're telling us what they're doing. They do it through comedy. They do it through cinematography, movies that are furthering their enslavement and their notification of what they're doing to us. Just so you know, that's part of the legally binding contract, is full disclosure. They're giving full disclosure. They're just not telling you that it's coming to you, not in the form of legalese necessarily. It's going to also be in the form of comedy and multimedia presentations, documentaries, all kinds of things that are promoting that false reality and enslavement. Step out of line, you'll get fired, drugged, killed. I've been shot by myself with a shotgun shell when I was a 10-year-old boy. I put a shotgun shell in the ground, shot it with my little pellet gun, and the casing came back and hit me in the head. And some of you might say, well, you know what? That's obvious. You've had some head injuries. I have, and I've survived them. And then I had a dozen years of the drugging of me with pharmaceuticals. Prior to that, I had at least 20 years of my self-drugging with alcohol and an experimentation with a variety of drugs. Reality is for those of us who can't handle drugs. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I don't want to be drugged. I want to be very perceptive of the reality that we're dealing with. And I want to share that with friends, family, and even people that hate on me. They're going to be, you, whoever you are, will be responsible for the information that I'm presenting or that's out there. I'm just trying to give you a high concentration of what I believe to be accurate and true. If you want to understand my spiritual or biblical perspective, I elaborate on it considerably. I believe that God's Word, the Bible, is true and all others are suspect. In the context of that, there is a spiritual smorgasbord of deception. There is like cotton candy for the soul. There's like imitation spirituality. It's spiritual, but it's not from the family that I belong to. I belong to God's family who created this world. I know him as Jesus Christ, the living word, the living water that took up human flesh, dwelt among us, told us what the deal was. It got him crucified by the people he created, and yet they're the fallen angels, those that are deceived. People that are walking with Satan now can actually be born again if they're God's children, that we're just wayward sons and daughters. So there are practicing Satanists and atheists. Well, I was an atheist, and I did my own thing, and I added drugs to it to feel good about it. Now I don't do that. Garbage in, garbage out. I put healthy nutrients in, and I make a real concerted effort to keep any toxins out of my body and off of my body. Yeah, on the skin is in the brain when it comes to a lot of the chemicals. A lot of the personal hygiene products are toxic. So I use coconut oil to protect the skin. I use baking soda to clean my body, inside and out. About a tablespoon of, or a teaspoon of baking soda a day, I'll end up consuming. It's a great antacid, alkalinizer, tooth cleanser, body deodorant. I put coconut oil under my arms, on my whole body, and a little bit of baking soda diluted with some water for the underarm and foot treatment. If you get a fungus, like a foot fungus or any other undesirable fungus, the baking soda kills it. The commercial treatments that are available are largely toxic to the body, and it's intended to be there. So there are other ways of handling it too. My hair dryer doesn't just dry my hair, it dries all of me. When I'm done with my towel in the morning, I'll throw it in the dryer. I want it dry and clean. I don't want it just ruminating in the bathroom for a long time. I want it dry and clean now. I'll dry my boots out with the dryer. So one of the things that I'll do when I hashtag titles is that I can comment on videos that I've recently liked and shared, and then you can go and see them if you want. The marketing of madness, the drugging of humanity. It's a big deal. If the physician cures the patient, they lose a customer. So many people are on multiple prescriptions that are interacting and degrading their physical function and their emotional interaction with reality and each other. Happy Valentine's Day to y'all. How's that going? I needed a new heart. I got one. And it's a heart of flesh, and it's the Spirit of God that now dwells in me and through me. So I'm not actually responsible for what you do with the information I present. What I am responsible for is the obedience to present it to you and then let you process it however you do. Like I really can't stop you from doing it. If you are on board with wanting to expose the wicked people of this world and what the answer to that is, then you're probably going to like me and my channel. If you're in Satan's family, you're probably not going to like what I'm about. That should be a clue to you. Right? Why would I do anything other than what God created me to do? It's a perfect fit. He rewards me abundantly for doing what He created me to do. That's why I do it. Rather than doing my own thing and then trying to feel good about it by adding chemicals or other behavior to feel good. The pursuit of pleasure is empty. I'm zoomed in on the birds. We've got a lone pelican there by a bunch of seagulls, and it's a symphony of just beauty and majesty of creation. So one of the other things that I've done is liked a lot of videos, 4K, 6K, 8K cinematography from around the world. Some time-lapse showing thunderstorms, showing the creation of weather right in front of our eyes. A lot of that happens on the coastal area because of the temperature differentials. We get the evaporation, condensation, and precipitation in all its forms: rain, snow, sleet, fog, humidity, all of that. That towel that I threw in the dryer this morning, yeah, I dried it out, evaporated it. That temperature differential does that. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? Well, that depends, because the temperature changes the density and volume of the water. It drives the whole hydrologic cycle. We've got elaborate ways of creating hot water: radioactive, nuclear power, coals, steam-fired, wood-fired power plants. Not much wood anymore, but back 150 years ago, we had steam engines, locomotives that were fired by coal or wood, that type of thing. Then we've got just the water seeking its level through hydroelectric dams, hydroelectric power plants that have a reservoir of water stored up, and then they'll move turbines to drive the turbines to create electricity. The Three Gorges Dam in China is the most powerful hydroelectric dam in the world. It's on my liked videos. The largest container ship, the largest ship in the world, is also on my liked videos. They made it in 35 weeks. It was over 10 times bigger than the Titanic. It's amazing what we do as a population of the world, but then there's a lot of it to enslave humanity. That distribution of goods that enslave some parts of the world with low-cost labor and just very difficult living conditions, that happens too. Creating money out of thin air, enslaving humanity with debt. Oh yeah. It's on my documentaries that I've found and featured. I'm zoomed in on the island, looking through the fog. I can't tell whether what we've got there, whether it's ATVs, just people, or horses and people. Inlet Point Plantation has horseback rides you can do over on the beach there. So people are, the beach is reflective. I've called this out here sea level liquid mirrors. The water is reflective. The people reflect off of the water. The people reflect on their lives, past, present, future, all of that. It's a kaleidoscope of humanity, of perspectives. And then concurrently there's a kaleidoscope of conspiracies that actually concurrently work together, and people are basing their eternity, quite often, their eternal perspective, on a lie. That's why I'm exposing NASA as a mind control organization, the mind control organization that it is, to control the minds, enslave humanity, concurrently with medical, military, pharmaceutical industrial complexes, It's all there. It's all happening. I'm not auditioning for an anchor man role on one of the corporate medias. I wouldn't want to do it. Not only that, they wouldn't want to have me. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this. It's basic, see, because I know these powerful documentaries existed before I walked on the scene. What I'm doing is exposing this to a lot of people that had no clue what was going on. The video gamers that were watching PewDiePie make fun of me at the first Flat Earth conference, and I say they're lying and I ain't buying. Who's they? Well, Satan and more. I was part of that deception. I was a liar about the globe. I didn't know that it was part of a deception as we homeschooled our sons, and I worked at a full-time ministry. I was unaware that I was a spiritually dead man promoting the global deception. Oh well, what am I going to do about it? I'm telling. That's what I'm doing. And that's what a lot of my friends are doing. That's why you're watching this video right now. Some of you are just, you've got maybe a lurid kind of fascination, like a train wreck. You can't look away. What's going on here? Well, what's going on is I was set free from a life of addiction, and I'm sharing a message to set other people free. The playlist that I have on my YouTube channel called YouTube Truth is an audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation. Good morning. There's an eagle flying around. I just can't get a good shot of him right now. I've got him catching a fish and taking it away for a dinner for one the other day. I think I might be able to zoom in on him now. Let's see if I can get him. He's hovering over a target right there. Oh, that's an osprey. So I've got just a couple, less than about a minute left on my P1000 video. So I wanted to end that recording by simply saying thank you for your public and private encouragement. Here is my contact information. You can call anytime. And you can hashtag my name if you care to.